Welcome to Lifestyle by SK, where wine, cigars, and relationships create that tapestry of extraordinary experience. And on today's video, we're going to be talking about why are police in the classroom the discipline problem that no one wants to fix. And I bring this conversation to us because when we look at the discipline, when that leaves the classroom in the middle schools that we have right now, the authority steps in terms of police officers, law enforcement, and that nature. And what I want to be able to break down in the video today is how important it is, especially in Black or predominantly Black schools, how important it is that we need more Black male teachers, active parents, and real accountability in these school systems. We need them in these school systems because if we don't restore the structure at home by having the Black male and Black female, Black mother, father, Black husband, wife at home, if we don't have that at home, the school system and the system itself will begin to take control of the situation, and we all know how that will go. Now, I focus on this specifically because I have been hearing of students, becoming disruptive in classrooms, and you can look at so many different YouTube, TikTok videos out there of students just being outright disrespectful to teachers in the classroom. And at no point should a student be disrespectful to a teacher. It's a way of respect from both ends. The teacher, by the way that they communicate with students, should most definitely be respectful. And the way that the students should respond back should definitely be respectful. And I'm talking about going way back as in yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, when you're dealing with someone older than you, especially a senior. And this is a very important thing that we have to discuss today, people. And hopefully we can think of some possible solutions to the situation to help resolve it, to definitely cut down on the amount of students that have been taken into police custody and being removed from the classroom itself. Now, while many of you probably know some people who have been through this point before, hopefully this video will be able to reach them and reach the parents. I really hope that it does, because I really want to make sure that we get a real positive understanding about this, because we're not looking at a finger pointing party here. What we're going to be looking at is solutions. But when did it become normal for police to be in classrooms? When you think about that, at least when I think about it, we had police officers at our high school when we was there. And the reason why that police officer was there is because when we were taking like law enforcement classes and safety classes in school, they had a law enforcement officer to teach it like a resource officer. And we learned about the different surface level points of law enforcement, learn how to drive a car out at the airport in terms of like turn on the sirens and stuff like that. Like it was really cool. It was a really helpful class to kind of give you a little bit of insight of safety and stuff like that. And when we had that in school, it really helped out a lot because it was almost like a student to police officer relationship where we understood a little bit of what law enforcement went through, and it taught us to be more responsible. It taught us to have a little bit more understanding. And when you look from, at least from as far as we can remember back, when you look from Trayvon Martin up to right now in history, you will see so much has changed within these last 20 years. So much has changed a lot about this. People, it has changed so much to where we are having big problems with even our small kids in school being disrespectful. And see, back then, when disrespecting a teacher wasn't even an option, because for one, the teachers would hem you up if they had to, and they knew your parents. But you had the coaches in school. I remember we had coaches in school that had no problem. They need to get you on board real quick, they would. And see, then they had paddling in school. where students have to go to the principal's office, get Padlets. They've taken that out of the school, of course. You've had male teachers that were in school that helped kept things aligned. I can remember being on the playground when the female teacher would say, "Hey, it's time to go in." Kids still playing, and the male teacher comes out there. We saw them as big buff coaches that were out there, which is really most of the male teachers were coaches, and they got the kids straight. They made sure the little boys were on code, and if the little boys followed, of course, the little girls are going to follow. And we have that in school. But something has clearly changed. And what clearly has changed is the introduction of these technology devices and phones being in the school system because students are readily communicating with each other and they're posting, "Hey, I'm about to get ready to disrespect this teacher. Go ahead and jump on Facebook Live so we can embarrass the teacher." And it ends up going online. And this is where we are right now. This is the problem, and this is one of the things that has changed. Social media has made it prevalent for students to be disrespectful. It has been a way of students using it to their advantage to make fun of teachers, to disrespect teachers, and to post it all over the world for other students to see, and other students see it and think they can get away with it, and then they start doing it. Had social media not been there, them phones not been in that classroom, they wouldn't be doing it. Because you know what? I believe a lot more teachers would be definitely react a whole lot more than what they're doing now. And when you keep all these kind of things in mind, what we're seeing is kids arguing with teachers. They're being flat out disrespectful, no kind of home training at home. Classrooms are out of control. Students wrestling teachers, throwing things at teachers, throwing desks, posting the teachers' personal business up online. All this stuff is escalating so quickly. And what happens? It goes straight from the classroom into the hands of law enforcement. And so then you have other parents online that say, "Oh, it is so wrong that the police officers are locking the students up by putting them in handcuffs and taking them out of the classroom." But nobody's talking about what is the students doing before that even took place. Because now with the access to technology and smartphones, it's almost made the students invincible to where they know that they're being disrespectful. They disrespect the teacher. The teacher can't say or do anything or protect themselves in terms of getting the student up off of them. And if they do, they'll be posted up online. Teachers are overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed and they're losing authority in the classroom because the students are going to be right. They're going to always be right. And this is what we're seeing today. When we look real much deeper, the question is, are these kids really as bad as they are? Are they just acting this way at school to get attention because they're not getting it at home? Or are they acting this way at home towards their parents? But one thing that it does reveal is there is a lack of structure at home because they wouldn't be acting like this at school. There's also a lack of accountability at home because the parents are not holding them accountable, so they go to school and start acting up. Then you also have the lack of presence in both home and school by their parents. Do the parents even come to the PTA meetings? Are the fathers working with the young men? Are the mothers working with the young ladies? And that's the question that we have to ask. Now, if we shift this and put this specifically on Black African American children, would it be helpful to the school and to getting more accountability and more structure and more presence in the homes? Would it be beneficial for the Black father and the Black mother to not only be at the PTO meetings, but be also within the school system and knowing what their kids are doing? Now, we can argue that they may have to work while their kids are in school. I will give you that. But after they are off work, are they keeping up with what's going on with their kids, with the teacher to make sure that their kids are on track? This is a very hard conversation to have because one thing that I can tell you, most of the teachers are female, white female, black female. There are very little black teachers in schools. Would it be helpful that more black men go into teaching or some sort of coaching in order to be in these schools so that the young black men will see these teachers and they know, okay, there's a strong black male figure there. We know we're not going to do anything crazy. Let us get our act together. I've always wondered that, and I'm not a teacher, never have been. But when see these different news stories, it makes me wonder, what if this happened? What will the results be? But where are the black male teachers? Because from the looks of this, and what we're seeing is they will be able to provide structure, they will be able to provide relatability, they will be able to provide respect and authority, especially important for young black boys to actually see. And this is not just trying to just make the school all black. What this is doing is, if these young black men, they need to see more than just entertainers or athletes or rappers or whatever. They don't need to just see them as authority figures or black male leadership figures. They need to see strong black men in these schools so that they can get their act together. And if you want to look and see if this will work or not, look at a sports team, for example. Now, I'm not a sports fan, never have been, but look at how the way that the players are way much bigger than the coaches. But look at how those basketball coaches, those football coaches, look how they lead those teams. Look at how the young men react to them. I saw a video once of, there was this coach at this school. He was teaching the football team how to change a tire on a car. But the way that the young men looked at him, they respected him because he took time out of his schedule to show them something that they can take with them for the rest of their life. More male figures are needed in schools. We can all agree on that. Specifically for the black young men and black women and young girls in school, the black young men and the black young women in schools need to see more black teachers and more, especially black male teachers in schools, especially where the schools are predominantly black. Use that as one of these solutions. Now, when this discipline, when it leaves, because it's already gone out of the schools, police officers are now having to step in. They're having to step in and solve a problem that could have been solved at home. Because here's the reality: it is the parents' responsibility to make sure that their kids are on track. It is the parents' responsibility to make sure that their kids are respectful. It's the parents' responsibility for 100% of everything, make sure that their child is on track. The school just actually just supplements that. And when the child doesn't act right, the school should be able to call the parents, and the parents should be able to provide the corrective action behind that, not the other way around. Some parents send their kids to school, they go do whatever it is that they want, and they think that it's the school's 100% responsibility to teach them things like how to read or how to do math problems and stuff like that. Parents, you're supposed to know how to do all of this. It is your responsibility. But with me not being a teacher, I definitely want to say, you know, I think that it's most definitely worth it. So